Burundi's opposition leader Agathon Rwasa has described today's constitutional court decision to allow President Pierre Nkurunziza to run for a third term as a coup against the constitution. The decision came hours after 4 constitutional judges, including its vice president, fled to Rwanda, citing intimidation by powerful forces in the government.
Media reports indicate that at least 13 people, among them 2 police officers, have been killed in the violent protests in a week. Human rights groups say Nkurunziza's administration is clamping on dissenters and the media seen to be pro-opposition.
3 independent radio stations, Radio Bonesha, Radio Isanganiro and Radio Publique Africaine, are no longer able to broadcast outside of the capital Bujumbura. So there's a real gap in the information that Burundians in the interior of the country are able to get about what's going on at the moment, and that's raising anxiety too.
The ruling came a day after Secretary of State John Kerry termed Nkurunziza's third-term bid unconstitutional.
We are deeply concerned about President Nkurunziza's decision, which flies directly in the face of the Constitution of his country. And the violence that is expressing the concern of his own citizens about that choice should be listened to and avoided as we go forward.
The current chairman of the East African Community, Tanzania's President Jakaya Kikwete, had early last month warned that any decision by the ruling party to have Nkurunziza run again would lead the country to chaos. On Monday, Rwanda expressed concern that the crisis in Burundi had crossed over to its doorstep, and it is now hosting more than 30,000 refugees as a result of the ongoing violent protests. Rwanda fears that the rebel group FDLR may take advantage of the chaos in Burundi to destabilize the country as well as the region. Tuesday's ruling and Nkurunziza's decision to stay put is likely to cause more unrest in the country, as seen in the days his party announced that he would be running for a third term. While his supporters say he is eligible to run, as he was elected by lawmakers during his first term, the opposition and the civil society say his bid is unconstitutional and goes against the Arusha Peace Agreement, which ended a long-running civil war in the country. Human rights groups want African countries to do more to prevent a humanitarian crisis in the country.
The silence has been deafening. We understand that discussions are going on behind the scenes and that the East African community has been engaged, but we hope that they will ramp up this engagement as a matter of urgency at this critical time.
Nkurunziza has warned that tough measures will be taken against protesters. On Tuesday, he seemed to soften his stance, saying radio stations would be reopened and protesters released if demonstrating youth kept off the streets. Sarah Kimani, SABC News.
Meanwhile, the Burundian ambassador has challenged the opposition in Burundi to respect the outcome of the Constitutional Court.
These opposition leaders who are, let's say, staging violent demonstrations, instead of bringing this issue in the streets through violent demonstration, they should have waited for the ruling of the Constitutional Court, because it is the only organ which is the appropriate one to rule on that issue. We can disagree. The opposition can have its views. The ruling parties and other partners can have their views. But in this case, for the presidential candidate, the issue has to be dealt with by the Constitutional Court.
For more on this story, watch SABC's DSTV channel 404 with contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko taking a look at political tensions in that country. That's at 9 o'clock tonight.